In this lecture, we'll talk about word formation. We'll talk about conversion. We'll talk about substantivation, and we'll learn about back formation. Also, we'll talk about composition, shortening, ellipsis, blending, and we'll work with this type of a table that will help you to connect and to unite into one whole everything that you know about word formation in English. So let's start. Conversion is the process of coining new parts of speech without adding any derivative element. It is a very English type of word formation when we have the word and it is easily converted into the noun. Very often it's verb and noun. And the same type, like to color a color, to comb a comb, and the same can be said about phrasal verb-noun conversion. Substantivation is the process of coining nouns, like substantive, substantivate, substance, from other parts of speech, usually adjectives. Substantivation may be complete substantivation when the adjectives are completely substantivized, and partial substantivation when the adjectives are partially substantivized. For example, when we have a completely substantivized adjective, it acts as a noun. It has all features of a noun. Partially substantivized adjectives are not used in singular, they are only used in plural. Back formation is the process of taking off the derivative suffix when the verbs are formed from nouns. For example, we had a word babysitter. We take the affix er out of it, and we get the verb to babysit. So we have editor, then to edit, lazy, to laze, enthuse, from enthusiasm. So all these three types are about the same. They are about forming new parts of speech from other parts of speech. They are conversion. So usually it is from verb to noun, from noun to verb. Substantivation, from noun to adjective, adjectives to noun. And back formation, we take derivative suffixes of the word and get verbs. So the other forms of word formation are composition and shortening, ellipsis, and blending. They are different. Composition is when we make one word out of several words, like mainland, forget-me-not, blackbird, and so on. So graphically, phonetically, such words are pronounced as one word. Graphically, we have either solid spelling or with a hyphen, and structurally, these elements there may be derivatives, so we can define compounds proper without derivatives, like horse and race make horse race, and derivational compounds when we add suffixes or prefixes. So composition is connecting several morphemes together. So shortening is when we clip a part of a word. It can be final clipping. Yeah, we get this part of the word out, and from Japanese we get Japa. Initial clipping, when we take off the first part, and middle clipping, when we take off the middle part. So sometimes there may be a combination of different types. And finally, we have ellipsis, which is the omission of a word or words from a set expression without the loss of the intended lexical meaning. Like a sit-down demonstration, we get demonstration out and we have only a sit-down, or popular music gives us pop. So now let's look at the table, and we'll see that this table represents all types of word formation. In the previous lection, we talked about derivation and affixation. It's when the words are formed with the help of affixes. So we call them derivation and prefixation, this process, and there may be productive and non-productive affixes. This feature appeared in the English language in the Old English period and exists till nowadays. Conversion is the process of forming new words without any derivative elements. We can call it zero derivation or root formation, and usually verbs derive from nouns or adverbs. It appeared in Old English after the loss of endings. Substantivation is the process of forming new words without any derivative elements. So usually it is about substantive, it's about noun, and we have full substantivation and partial substantivation. Nouns derive from adjectives, and this process started from Middle English, and it was going on or continued until early modern English. In back formation, all derivative suffixes are taken off, and the characteristic feature of this word formation is that verbs are formed from nouns, adjectives, or word groups. So it's about verbs, and we have this feature from Middle English till early modern English. It developed and it still exists in the language. So composition is the formation process of a word with two or more. I would say that sometimes there may be more roots. We also can call it compounding when we connect compound to words, and the characteristic features are fixed stress, graphically connected words, and structurally there may be proper and derivational compound. So, and finally, shortening and ellipsis. It's when the part of the original word is taken away. We have final clipping, initial clipping, and middle clipping. Words do not change the part of speech. They are in the same part of speech, and it appeared in Middle English. So now let's look at all these types, and we'll see that conversion, substantivation, and back formation is about parts of speech, from one part of speech to another part of speech. Composition is about connecting words to create a new one, and shortening and ellipsis is about making these words shorter. So if we look at this, we'll see that all types of word formation can be divided into forming new parts of speech from one part to the other part. Then connecting words, and finally we can talk about taking off parts of words. So in this lecture, we talked about types of word formation. Before, we learned about affixes. Here, we learned that with the word formation, we can form new parts of speech. We can connect words to make new words, and we can take off parts of words to make new words. Thank you.